Hello, hi viewer, welcome back to my channel Hocantalk.english. This is an English channel for my finance and business knowledge channel. I have another Chinese channel which is called Ho Can Talk. So today we are going to talk about a very wonderful fruits. A lot of people like it. So regarding durian, durian is a fruit that actually smell like hell but tastes like heaven. And this is a fruits that either you like it very much or you hate it a lot. But today we are not just here to talk about a fruits. We are here to discuss a multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon that has transformed the rural landscapes into economic powerhouses. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the history and origin about durian, but I put down everything onto the slide so that you can read through yourself. Now, this fruit is native to the Southeast Asian region of Borneo and Sumatra, and it has existed for millions of years in the wild. But the first Western record appeared in the 15th century by one Italian traveler. Historically, the fruit was wild harvested. It wasn't until the mid 20th century that systematic grafting and commercial cultivation began in Malaysia and Thailand. Today, what was once a jungle secret is now the subject of intense botanical research and sophisticated cold chain logistics. Now, which are the top producing country now for durian? So Thailand is the world largest exporter. Their focus is on high volume, consistent quality varieties like Monton. So if you look at the slide that I produced, I put down there the picture and some of the characteristic of the fruits produced by all these top three countries, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. And Malaysia is the leader in the premium durians. So Malaysia practice of allowing fruits to naturally drop from the tree ensure peak ripeness, targeting the luxury market. And Vietnam is up and coming contestant in the durian industry. They have closer proximity to China, which has a massive demand for these fruits. And Vietnam is quickly becoming a dominant force in the fresh fruit trade. Now, the next slide actually include two more countries, which is Indonesia and Philippines. As you can see, these two are also one of the main player in the durian industry. So for Indonesia and Philippines, they are very much up and coming. Philippines is renowned for all the durian produced in the city called Davao. So there are some saying that if you want to taste the best durian, you should go to Philippines. And for Indonesia, it's mainly for the domestic market, but they are also arming themselves for the export market. Now, there are a few research reports available. Some say that the global durian market is about 40 billion US. Some say it's about 10.4 billion US. So I think there's a lot of differences in all these forecasts. But one thing quite consistent in all this research is the growth of durian is above 6%, the cumulative growth year on year for the demand, and is reaching 7%. So generally, the size of the market is quite wide in terms of the forecast and the actual estimate or the actual numbers. But the fact is very clear that durian, the fruits as a market, is experiencing very rapid growth due to the huge demand from China. So very quickly, I'm going to just show you some of the numbers produced by the various top producing country in Southeast Asia like Vietnam. So I'm going to put them into different slide for you all to look at the trend, such as the prices, the volume, and all this. But again, I won't go into detail because the graphic are quite informative. You can take time to read through them. The focus of this video is to look at the business and cost analysis of durian plantation as an investment. So I will focus on this at the later part of the video. Now, the previous slide is about Vietnam. So this slide is about Thailand. So from here, I actually put down there the variety offered by the Thailand market, the Thailand farmers. So from here, you can read through and you can also look at the trend in the production of the different variety of durian in Thailand. They are all on the upward trend. Now, look at Philippines. This is a very new player, but there are many saying that the Davao durian will be a very highly demanded variety because I've tasted the Davao durian. It really tastes very different and wonderful. So Philippines is one of the up and coming new player, and they have planned to aggressively increase the durian plantation. Of course, Malaysia has always been the key player in the premium area segment of the durian. So they produce uh, variety like Musang King, the Black Thorn, the D24, and all these are commanding a very high, much higher price, and they are more well sought after by those people who can afford a higher price and a higher quality product. And the taste among all the people who love durian, they believe that Malaysia durian tastes the best. So the last country that I will roughly touch on will be Indonesia. For this, I've also made another slide. You can take a look at the slide, and you can actually look at the trend. It's also likewise upward trends, and farmers are planting more to aim at a growing export market. And but traditionally, Indonesia has a huge domestic market because they love to eat durian. But basically, the country is also arming themselves to produce more so that they can generate foreign reserve by selling more durians. I think it's a very common knowledge that everybody know now China is the biggest importer of durian due to the fact that now Chinese people really love to consume durian. So for this slide, I actually put out there a comparison, the import and export dynamic from 2024 to 2026. You can see that Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, all these are top exporters, and they are aiming to export their durian to the massive China market, whereby the demand is forecasted to continue to increase. Now, to make this video a little bit more interesting and also more uh, complete, I actually include this slide here to roughly educate or let you know that roughly there are about close to or maybe between 2,000 to 3,000 varieties of durian in the world, mainly in this part of the region. Um, but again, a lot of them are not registered or is wild grown durian trees in the wild, still not to be still have yet to be identified or group them into category. But those that we are eating right now only belong to species, and the rest of them are also edible, but again not well documented. So this slide you can actually see that there are quite a lot of variety of durians available, but the one that we actually eat more or less come from one species only. The next slide will make a lot of people salivating. As you can see, I actually put down there the top three kind of quality of durian that people look after. Number one is the Musang King. That's from Malaysia. Number two is the Black Thorn. That's also from Malaysia. This is the most expensive durian on offer in the market. Of course, the for Thailand side is called the Monton. Monton. It's called the Golden Pillow. So it also being well sought after. But again, these three are the top variety now available in the durian market. Now, the next two slide is a little bit more technical and it's more something like going through a chemistry lesson. So this slide, I actually put out there why the durian has different kind of taste, smell. Some people think it's a bit bitter. Some people think there's alcoholic taste, and some are creamy, some are sweet. So again, all these are due to the chemical compound in the durian, which created all this durian aroma. So again, you can look at the table, and I won't go into detail because this is a little bit more technical. The other slide will show you all the variety of some of the popular durian offer in the market, like Musang King, Black Thorn, Saudan, Red Prawn, D24, all these kind of funny names. And also I put out there the origin, the country whereby it produced, and also the texture, the flavor profile, and the bitterness. So all these I've do a comparison matrix. It's just for your information, to show you that for durian, even though it's a very is a very growing market, but again, this market is not homogeneous. Within the durian itself, there are many type of variety, but they all come from one species. But again, because of the different planting, crafting method, they produce different kind of variety of the durian that has different taste, and also different bitterness. Now, before we go into the business and finance overview of the durian plantation market, this slide is just to show you that to manage a durian plantation is not that straightforward. I used to be working in the durian plantation. So again, these are the things that you have to look out for. This is the management of the tree. You have to look for, you have to manage your pests, you have to manage your fertilizing, also the watering and all this. Again, this is just for general knowledge. So after this slide, we'll move on into the business and financial review, such as the payback period, the cost analysis of a durian plant. Okay, now we move on to the main topic of today's video, is the economic analysis of the cost of planting. Now, investing in the durian plantation is a marathon, not a sprint. So, if I'm using Malaysia as an example, so if you want to establish a 10-acre plantation, typical outlay in US dollar is between 150,000 US dollar to 250,000 US dollar. That's excluding the land cost. That's all the cost that you need to start investing. Including the land cost will be much higher, but again, Malaysia planting land cost, depending on the location, is quite affordable basically, because you lease from the owner or the government. Now, I won't go into the detail about the cost, but again, if you look at the investment timeline, which is linked to the tree, the first 2 years is plantation. So meaning you clear the land, you put in the seed. The third years and the fourth years is a growing phase. You still don't have any durian fruits. And coming to the 5 to 7 years, then you have the first harvest of the durian. But the yield will increase when the trees are 8 years old or between 8 to 12 years old. And when it reach maturity, which is about 13 years old, then you have peak production of durian. Now, based on all kind of financial calculation, there's a formula here. I put down there a net present value formula. The expected return on investment after 7 years, meaning the first few years are not high, typically can be about 15 to 20%. But if you equalize over the first few years, then it will be lower. The payback period is about 9 to 10 years. And if you look at the revenue projection, assuming 1 kilo of Musang King sell at uh, farm gate, meaning at the farm level, 12 US per kilo, then 1 acres can actually generate about 48,000 US annually. So this is the kind of revenue that you can expect. But again, there are some operational costs which you can look at the slide. I actually put down everything so that if you prefer to read from the slide, you can actually take a look. The annual maintenance like fertilizer, labor, electricity, and pruning is about between 3,000 US to 5,000 US per acre per year. So typically, for if you look at the overall return, the return will pick up after the 7 years maturity, but overall the ROI will be quite attractive. But again, that linked to very much that how you manage the plant, what kind of selling price you can get. If there's any fluctuation in the Musang King price, or for example, if the price drop from 12 US dollar, like currently there's an oversupply of durian, that's why the price is under downward pressure, then of course your ROI, your payback period will be longer. Now, the next slide, if you can look at the slide that I produced, I actually expand my analysis, including financial modeling, to include price sensitivity. So there are some duplication here. I won't repeat, but again, you can see some of the breakdown in the cost. I actually put down there the grafting, fertilizer, and the capex expected per hectares. And also, again, the ROI about 15 to 20% annually if you include all the way to the long term, and also the yield. So all these I more or less have discussed using the discounted cash flow method. But again, the key thing that I want to mention here would be the sensitivity analysis. So the biggest risk in durian plantation, like I mentioned, is the price volatility. So if there's a 10% drop in the farm gate price of Musang King, and then that means that your payback period will be extended by another 1.5 years. So these are the things that you have to watch out for. Now, these are all based on the statistic that I gathered from a Malaysia plantation. Of course, there are some key, beside the price volatility, there will be a yield variety, the yield risk, like weather risk and pest and disease, which I mentioned just now. So if on average, if everything is normal, then you are looking at about 15 to 20% ROI, but there are some associated risks that is linked to some uncontrollable factors such as the weather, pest, and also price of the durian depend due to the supply and demand issue. Now, the next slide, I actually put in two more variety, the Thailand golden pillow, or called the Monton, and also the Malaysia black thorn, which are selling at a premium. So I put down there the yield analysis by different variety. Of course, as you can see that the capex involved are basically almost the same. In this case, I use hectares compared to the first slide, which is acres. But again, I put the ratio down here. 1 hectare is equal to 2.47 acres. So again, all these numbers you can roughly just take a look for your reference. But basically, if you look at the payback period, these are quite consistent. It's between 8 years to 10 years, and the ROI is quite consistent also. And of course, the blackthorn basically has a better ROI. But again, all these fruits tree plantation always subject itself to weather issue, pest issue, and a very uncontrollable demand and supply issue. If there's an oversupply, then all these prices will go down and your payback or break-even period will be lengthened. Now, after a few heavy slides on the economic analysis, business and financial review of the durian plantation, maybe before I move on to some of the current market development, I will just talk something lightly. There are a lot of hearsay and the myth in the durian industry. For example, is the durian heaty? After you finish the durian, if you put some salt water in the shell, would it be cooling? And also durian and alcohol. But again, there are in Asia, we live in Asia, we always come across newspaper report about someone after consuming durian and then drink hard liquor, they experience some very terrible incidents, life threatening event. So again, even though these are the myth, it's rather it's better good to believe it than don't believe it or take the risk. So again, the biggest thing that I want to mention here is that if you eat durian, even though scientifically there's nothing linked to the alcohol and all this, but let's play safe, avoid doing all this together. But again, one thing for sure, you look at the next slide, scientific research has shown that durian actually have certain nutritional benefits. So again, I put down there all the information here so that if you are interested, you can take a look. But basically, so far, in terms of nutrition and vitamin, potassium level, durian so far is a very promising fruit. Now, again, for the durian plantation market, there is a very positive development in the year 2020. And also, there's an agreement signed. The name of this agreement is called the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which I put out there in this slide here. So you look at the slide, you can see some information. Now, in short, RCEP is the world largest free trade agreement signed in November 2020 and active as of 1st January 2022. It actually creates a massive economic bloc by covering 15 countries in the Asia Pacific region, which is about 30% of the global GDP and about 30% of the world population. Now, what are the key details about the RCEP and what is the relevance to durian? Now, the members that actually signed this RCEP include the 10 ASEAN nations, plus Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, and South Korea. And why do they sign all these agreements? This is to lower tariff, standardize custom procedure, and reduce trade barriers, facilitating easier trade among members nation. Why is it significant to the durian growing countries such as those few that I mentioned in the video? Because it actually has certain provision to speed up the process of perishable good and also to slash the tariff and the administrative procedure for exporting of all these perishable goods into major country, for example, in this case, China. So the RCEP is a very important agreement that will support or facilitate or even further reinforce the growth of the durian demand in this region. Of course, in addition to simply exporting these fruits, there's also a emerging of a new industry trend here, which create another business opportunity for the durian plantation. This is called the durian tourism. A lot of the durian plantation now offer a homestay accommodation in the plant so that they can get closer to nature, taste the durian, unlimited taste of the durian. So this is a new tourism area using durian as a key attraction. And according to market research, all this durian tourism is very popular, and especially during the durian season, basically it's very difficult to get opportunity to squeeze into one of the tour that bring you to a durian plantation to stay there, to taste durian and to understand more about the durian plantation. So for durian tourism, it created another additional revenue for the durian farmer, which I did not include in the previous slide for economic analysis, because durian tourism, it depends on the willingness of each of the durian farm owners. Some might want to do it, some might not want to do it. So the previous economic analysis did not include all the additional income that can derive from durian tourism. Now, also, another promising trend in this durian industry is the technology breakthrough using liquid nitrogen revolution. So now, fresh durian can actually be kept in a frozen stage, and that means it can be shipped to further areas, further market, and it has a longer shelf life. So this one will increase uh, it will retain the quality of the fresh durian from Malaysia, from all the producing country. It can also allow durian to reach a further away market, and it can also increase customer satisfaction. So these are the emerging trend that are all positive for the durian industry. Okay, so for this video, I've covered everything regarding some history and origin of durian, variety of durian, the taste, and why it has different aroma. But of course, the main point of this video is to focus on the economic analysis, business review, the break-even analysis of the durian using Malaysia plantation cost of production as example. And also at the end of this video, I also talk about some of the latest trend. Of course, before the trend, I also talk about some of the hearsay and the myth regarding durian. So there are some promising trend in the industry, such as the durian tourism and also the new technology to freeze the durian so that it can be shipped to a much further away market to reach a wider uh, consumer base. So again, thank you. Hopefully you benefit from my video, and thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and circulate my video to other people or to your friends so that they can also review this video. Thank you very much. See you again next video. Bye.